CSS offers many possibilities for creating eye-catching shapes using clip path and masking. But can we add animations to these shapes to create engaging visual experiences? The answer is yes. In today's video, we'll dive into a super simple example of animating a CSS mask and combining it with a hover effect. Welcome to Optimistic Web, where we explore the world of CSS and front-end development, one step at a time. Before jumping into the details, let's first walk through the setup. Suppose we are working on a team page and adding a card for each team member showcasing their image, name, and designation, just like we usually see on a typical About Us page. In the markup, we have a section element acting as a container for the cards. Then, each card will have the card's CSS class and include a link around the name and designation, along with a separate container for the image. As usual, the CSS file is also ready with some required styles for the page setup. Now let's focus on creating the layout before moving on to the animation. The card's CSS class, which is attached to the container, will use a CSS grid layout. The column setup is based on the powerful AutoFit keyword using a minimum width of 13 rem and a maximum of 1 fr. This will ensure the grid is fully responsive and adapts seamlessly to the available space. After that, the content area of the card will be a flex container, with both the inline and block axes centered for perfect alignment, and the flex flow property will be set to column, ensuring the name and designation are displayed on separate lines. We'll also add some standard styles like padding, color, and borders to enhance the overall appearance. Then comes the image. Its width will be set to 100%, with an aspect ratio of 1 and object fit set to cover. This will make sure that the image always maintains a perfect ratio between its width and height. No matter what the actual size of the image is, its rendered size will always look aligned and proportional within its parent container. And to eliminate the extra space at the bottom of the image, we can simply set the image's display property to block. Because, by default, images are inline elements. They behave like normal text and respect the line height, which allows them to be aligned within or around text blocks. Converting them to block elements is the easiest way to fix this problem. Next, if you haven't watched my previous video on CSS masking, I would highly recommend checking that out to understand how masks work in CSS and how to combine them with an image or CSS gradients to create cool visual effects. For today's effect, we'll use this transparent PNG as an overlay for the main image. The mask image features a color splash with a mix of opaque and transparent pixels, where the gray area around the splash is fully transparent. As soon as we applied the mask image property, the main image completely disappeared. That's because the mask image is too large compared to the boxed area, and only the transparent pixels are visible. To fix this, we'll use the mask size property and set it to 100%. Additionally, similar to using the background position and background repeat, the mask position and mask repeat can keep the mask image properly aligned. And if you prefer to use shorthand properties, you can convert these 4 lines into a single CSS rule. Basically, it's the same setup as we do with the background shorthand property. The cool thing with this setup is that we can easily animate the mask size and the mask position properties. So if we add hover styles for the card and increase the mask size to a larger value, we can give a nice touch to the user interface. And combining it with the transition property will animate the effect. I'm using the transition delay for the normal state of the image and resetting it to 0 inside the hover block to give it an extra touch of creativity. This will delay the animation by 0.25 seconds when moving out of the card while running instantly when moving in. The focus within pseudo class will take care of the keyboard interactions. Then there is one more thing that we need to fix. It looks good when we interact with the mouse, but when we use the keyboard and the focus reaches the anchor element, it shows the default blue focus ring. To address this, we can remove the default outline from the anchor element. However, removing the outline from an interactive element is considered a bad practice as it negatively impacts accessibility. To compensate for this, we can add an outline to the card and use its hover and focus within states to highlight the selected element. The benefit of this approach is that we can match the outline styles with our design while still maintaining a better user experience and fulfilling the accessibility guidelines. Now let's add a few more team members to the page and see how it all comes together on the front end. As we can see, CSS offers much more than simple color changes. By combining techniques like clip path, masking, and transitions, we can create visually stunning and interactive designs. And if you're interested in diving deeper into CSS clip path, feel free to check out my detailed video on creating custom shapes. We've only scratched the surface of what's possible with CSS masks, and I can't wait to see your creative ideas in action. So give it a try and let your imagination take over. If you learned something new today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. Feel free to drop your questions or comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.